Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This video we'll be talking everything you need to know about Albedo, his place in the meta, where he stands now that we have some of the new stuff that's coming out in his patch, now that we have access to it, what kind of artifacts you're looking for, what kind of weapons you're looking for, teams, all that kind of good stuff. So it's really quick. What is Albedo's role? Albedo is primarily a sub DPS unit who is kind of a drop and forget unit. You throw his E out, you throw his ult out, you swap off, and he essentially just does damage over time as you hit stuff. So a very low impact or low maintenance unit that can have pretty good impact and pretty good damage output, especially now that he has an actual artifact set. So that's the first thing first. Let's just talk about weapons and artifacts. So weapons, everybody will be getting a Cinnabar Spindle for free during this event. I highly recommend you get it, and you get it to R5, even if you don't have any plans to roll Albedo, just in case one day you want this for some character. You don't have to level it, but just get it. You might regret it later if you don't do it, so I always say do it. It didn't take me any time at all to get the R2 one, so I assume it's not going to take that much time to get the R5 one. But what this weapon does is it has a defense substat, which is good for him, but then also increases elemental skill damage by a portion of your defense, scales up to 80, and the effect can only trigger once every 1.5 seconds, which is completely fine since the damage from his E skill only triggers once every 2 seconds, so you're going to have this up every E proc, no problem whatsoever. Other option, if you don't have this, or if you're watching this later than the event, Harbinger of Dawn is actually an insanely good weapon for him. This goes up to like a 40-some% crit damage stat, and when above 90% HP, which he will almost always be since he is rarely, if ever, on field, your crit rate is increased by 29%. Very good weapon. Does get beaten out by this, as this is kind of tailor-made for him. If you have access to it, Jade Cutter is also very good as a stat stick. But other 5 stars I would kind of leave away from, as he doesn't really care about the high base attack as much as just the fact that the Jade Cutter has a ridiculous amount of crit on it. Talents really only need to worry about skill and burst. If you want to be really stingy, really only skill. This lasts for 30 seconds, so it has very, very low maintenance required, and it scales purely off defense, whereas the ult scales off attack. So this is why you build him mainly for defense, but if you want to, and if you're worried about it, if you want to get some damage out of the burst, you can build a little bit for attack, but I generally just recommend going straight for defense and utilizing that. The ult is generally worth using, though, as it does give an elemental mastery buff, so in a lot of teams it's actually worth using it anyway. Now let's talk for a second about the artifacts. He's got a new artifact set this patch, the Husk of Opulent Dreams, which gives him 30% defense and essentially a stacking passive that gives him bonus geo damage and bonus defense the longer he's on field. For what you're generally looking for, obviously crit rate, crit damage, and then defense. For the actual pieces themselves, flower, feather are fine. Sands, you want a defense sands, geo damage cup, and either a crit rate or a crit damage circlet, depending on what your needs are. Most likely a crit rate circlet unless you have ridiculous subs. Other options than the 4-piece of this, or until you get a good 4-piece, as it's going to take you quite a bit to get a decent 4-piece. You can always use 2 Petra instead. Where's my 2 Petra instead for the 15% geo damage and then the 30% defense. It will be significantly worse than this. You won't be getting the 24% extra defense, and it'll be 9 less geo damage, but it's not too bad. So if you have really good substats, or just until as a filler set, go for it. All right, now let's talk briefly what kind of teams you will want him in and kind of his state or his power level as a unit. So Albedo is kind of a generic unit, meaning that he doesn't necessarily have places he fits it, like he is a key member of, but he is quite good in comps. Like he does plenty of damage, he adds a lot of damage, but he isn't necessarily super uniquely powerful that he brings something that other units don't necessarily have. The team you see on screen is kind of his generally best team, which is the Zhao team with double Anemo, double Geo. He's also a great partner with Zhongli, just in general for most teams, obviously because Zhongli is very good, but also due to them triggering Geo Resonance. with the georesonance benefiting both of them. And also interactions like the fact that his flower is a geoconstruct, so it resonates with Zhongli, which makes it easier to proc Millilith. Stuff like Geo Res Shred working great with Albedo, and then just the damage bonus obviously being good for your team. So these two kind of can just be a core for whatever, any team you really want, or any team that can use them. So, maybe something like another common team would be a Hu Tao team set up with these two, or you could run something, I don't know, kind of whatever you want. A physical team, someone like Kaching and Bennett would be fine, or Razor Bennett, something like that. But in general, Albedo is by no means a must-pull unit for any team, with the exception possibly of Ito. I know it's a little early, and we have no clue, and sadly we're not going to know before Ito actually comes out whether they work well together. But it is a pretty safe assumption to assume that they are going to be great together, as Goro will also be giving defense buffs out and amping Albedo's damage more. And Albedo is just a character that requires very little field time to allow Ito to do his thing and smack stuff. So kind of just an overall thoughts. Albedo has gotten quite a bit better on the numbers side with its patch, where to the point where he is now a very, very potent unit, where previously he was just a pretty solid option. He's very good, but he still kind of doesn't have a specific niche, really, unless you're super interested in an Ito team or a Zhao team, or the Hu Tao variant with Zhongli and him instead of Toma and Kazuha. But if you like him, roll for him. He's a super, chill unit, doesn't require that much maintenance. Or doesn't require that much field time. And yeah, there are plenty of other characters, though, so maybe if you're a free-to-play or a super low budget or low spender and you don't have that many primos, you may want to consider skipping, because there's quite a few good characters that should be coming up soon. We'll talk about that in another video coming out soon. But I hope you found this interesting, and I hope if you're rolling for Albedo, good luck. If you're rolling for Eula, good luck. And I hope you're enjoying the event. I thought the story was kind of good. I kind of like this event. I'm kind of happy to play Genshin more. So I hope you have a good day.